with that, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now move on to our next presentation for the evening. And it is my absolute honor to introduce to you our second speaker for the evening. And that is Engineer Deepal Wickremasinghe. Engineer Deepal Wickremasinghe, a veteran civil and structural engineer with over 40 years of experience. A graduate of the Society of Engineers UK, he began his career with Surat Wickremasinghe Associates, contributing to major projects such as the National Institute of Health Sciences, Kalutara, and the National Hospital redevelopment in Colombo. He later partnered with architect Milroy Pereira on the iconic Kandalama Hotel, followed by landmark projects like the Blue Water Hotel and Sinbad Hotel, Ananthra, presently by Jeffrey Bauer. In 2000, he founded Deepal Wickremasinghe Associates, delivering structural solutions for high-profile projects including Altair, Shangri-La, Ritz-Carlton and Four Seasons, Intercontinental, Banyan Tree, Bulgaria, and several resorts in Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Today he presents on the restaurant conversation of the Bentota Beach Hotel, a groundbreaking project here in Sri Lanka. Engineer Wickremasinghe is a fellow and member of several esteemed professional bodies, including IIESL, IET in UK, SSESL, and CPM. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Engineer Deepal Wickremasinghe.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all of you. We previously talked about the economy of the country. Now we'll switch on to architecture and engineering. Most of you all are engineers. I hope it will be interesting to you all. The topic I'm talking today is restore conservation of Bentota Beach Hotel, which was first built in 1967 and rebuilt in 2017. Before getting to the topic, I'll explain the difference in this project. So start with restoration of buildings, which is quite common in Sri Lanka. As you know, restoration means if a building is in a dilapidated condition, we can repair it, resurrect it, re-strengthen, put back the finishes, and make it livable. So that is a restoration of a project or a building. Classic, there are a lot of millions of examples you can see in the market. My mind goes to Tower Hall in 1980, which was in a dilapidated state. Then the government took it over and completely restored and make it workable. So that's called restoration part. Conservation is different. It's different from restoration. Conservation means if a building, whatever the remnants, you resurrect it in such a way that you don't add anything. If there are pillars or foundation plinths, you realign them, reposition them, and make it just preserve it. As an example, I'll tell you, Anuradhapura period, if you see our Abhegiri complex, the monastery complex, anybody who had gone there would have seen the monasteries use the remaining portions, whatever that is there, the pillars or the foundations, everything is realigned and repositioned. Nothing is added. So That's the basic definition for conservation. Now, in this project, Bentota Beach Hotel, why we call it restore conservation, it was a building that was there. We rebuilt it as per the original plan, and also used all the material except the skeleton of the structure. So that's why we call the combinations restore conservation. If you take Bentota, the border between Western Province and the Southern Province, and the project is bounded by the Bentota River, and this photograph and the plan is hand-drawn 1967 by architect Jeffrey Bawa's office, and this whole photograph is again taken in 1969 after it was completed. What is unique in this hotel is, history says this area, this land, was actually, there was a sand mound, a natural sand mound. Also they say, during the Dutch period, they have used this as a fortress. So architect Jeffrey Bawa had this behind his mind that it was a fortress, so certain features of this hotel also depicts a fortress. And Jeffrey Bawa is a person who never went and leveled a site or cut earth and do any destruction. He generally believed in maintaining what was there and building around it. Even famous project Kandalama, I was involved in that. There again, he built it on the slope. Nothing was cut, nothing was leveled, except for the entrance area. Right, now here, what Bawa did is a unique thing. If you see the left-hand side, there's an old plan. If you see the old plan, what he did was, the sand mound that was there, he first retained it by a retaining wall. Right round, I don't know whether the cursor can go there, show that retaining wall that he has built. Is it possible? All right. Pointers also won't work. Anyway, I'll just go and explain to you. What he did there was, he just retained the earth mound. And below that, below the retaining wall, he designed a corridor which acted as a service corridor to the staff to go around. So that is sort of a below ground level situation. Now, the two wings you see on the left and right hand side, they were designed as like bastions. And the photograph, if you can take the photograph again, if you see there on the left and right hand corners, you see these bastions. And can you see that on the retaining wall, you get the openings, which acted as a sort of fortress at the lower ground level of this hotel. And this is another photograph which depicts that feature where he maintained the lower ground level as a fortress with a ring of corridors and two bastions to tell the staircases were done. And the entrance to the hotel was this arch opening you see here. From there, you entered from the lower ground level to the upper ground level, which was the main area, the reception, and the other services like restaurants and public areas were housed on the upper floor. If you can get back the plan again, there was a courtyard. Now, the courtyard was actually on the upper ground level. There was a courtyard with frangipani trees as well as the lily ponds. So what he did here was the natural, the earth mound was retained, and upper level was considered the upper ground, and below, from the below ground level, you entered the hotel. Next photograph. Now, if you see this, from this arch that you are seeing here, the black color thing, from there you go in, you go to the entrance level, which I explained, then there is an L block. Behind that you can see 2 more floors of residential facilities, like the room facilities are provided on the 2 upper floors. Now, after entering the hotel from the ground level, then you go up to the first and second floors. There's something unique he has designed there. If you go to the photograph, these are the drawings which he has done. If you can see, and engineers will find it easy to understand, the 2 corridors that you see at the lower ground floor, then the upper level you can see the trees and the water lily pond, that's the entrance courtyard, and the public areas were housed on the upper ground level. Above that, the residential facilities, he had done a very unique kind of design. Basically, you can see the first floor of this building with a sort of a cantilevered position. You can see it's cantilever off a cantilever. Visually, he has created this cantilever off a cantilever situation. But actually what he has done is taking the first floor slab out, and there was a hanging column. Later to find that it was not a cantilever, but basically a slab hung with a column. So an inverted slab with inverted columns. So theory works very well, and also he had used very thin columns for the suspending this slab. And it's basically, the size was something like 125 millimeters by 125 with timber cladding. And also from the first floor to second floor, you see the same detail he has done. Again, you see a protrusion out and a hanging column. There also what he has done is, same slab, it was hung from the column, there's a hung column, and that column was taken by the portal frame, which was a very solid portal frame, concrete portal frame. So and you can see it from the photographs, this at the right-hand corner and the left-hand corner, this cantilever, the visual cantilever is there, but it was acting as a suspended slab. I'll explain to you in detail how it happened later.